How you going, Pete?
I'm all right, but that was, for lack of a better term, heavy. And now John Florence has to answer, and he's got himself.
Movement here from last year's world champion. He's up. This heat is now well and truly underway. And John loading up for something big here. Big hook off the top. Bit of foam on the face. Just waiting for this thing to stand up again. Just wanting that quick start. And wants to apply some pressure here. Tweaks that air out. Geordie Smith had a 13, so 2 throwaways now for Geordie. No mistakes in the final 2 events. If he wants that world title, John Florence, here's the replay of that opening ride.
Nothing super special. I mean, he was just looking for sections. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a warm-up wave. You know, I think he just wanted to make sure that he can get a score. Again, he found his feet, but the landing, very difficult. I mean, this was the best turn here. He lays it over, and one of the things I think John does that, I mean, he's got a very unique finish to his maneuvers. You know, he cocks his knee in and brings everything tight together. And then I'll actually lift his arms too as he goes through it. His arm starts really high, comes low, and then almost goes back up again.
So 26.5 minutes to go here. John Florence back out there. A 5 on his first wave. Not much happening in the start of this ride, but this wave's starting to stand up. And he takes to the air, and he sticks it. The biggest backside air reverse we've maybe seen this year. Italo dropped the big one on the Gold Coast.
In order to quiet Ethan Ewing, but also send a shot across the bow to Geordie Smith, who had just initiated a loss. As you watch that again, I mean, just butterball landing, and that was not an easy section to land in. We got to see it again, a couple more times here. Again, slow-mo here. That section moving away from him, except for right there, and that's where he gets the ramp. Planted his feet. Backside, you don't see that shift to the front of the board like you do on the forehand. You're able to grab your toes and kind of plant your feet. You're also able to get that extra spring on the heel edge of the bottom turn to get that pop. And when you pop, you don't need to shift your feet as far forward. Again, live motion, just real motion here. Look at this. So easy. It was huge. Really nothing else you could have done in that wave.
That's one of the best airs that we've ever seen in competition, I'm calling. I know we say that a lot these days, but just the landing and just, you're right, Pete, where he came from, it was such a difficult section to launch off. The tail so high, and he got the board right around before sticking it. It was just a beautiful thing to watch. A 9.73, one judge threw him a 10.
Well, I mean, throw some comparisons this season. I mean, we've got Italo with 2 of them. One is a 9.5 and one a perfect 10.
Felipe Toledo, 14.76. He's also had more heat wins this year, John Florence. It's just that Geordie Smith's been ultra consistent as well. But here we go, Ethan Ewing trying to get back in this heat. Putting a bit more oomph into his turns in the first round. And this has been a clean ride. Multiple maneuvers. Trying to add a little bit more on the end. He knows he has to go big. He's chipping away at a 2-wave total. 14.74. That's what John Florence has been able to amass.
Take him out of combo. Smaller wave, but it had the clean line and nice variety in the forehand to be able to give a nice mix of maneuvers here. So crisp in the way he transitions from rail to rail. And then just unfortunate where he gets this final move here. He, again, pushes a little bit hard. Fins get released and goes off balance. Still going to be the second highest wave of the heat. But again, getting those fins up and over, like grinding the coping as almost a skate maneuver there. And that's that variety, being able to do that and then keeping the rails engaged through a full carve. See that front arm, unique, bent forward. Just the fall there, getting off balance. I mean, it feels like to me that he just kind of took his attention away from finishing the maneuver and went down.
Put a 6.5 on the board, despite the fact he didn't finish that last turn. Let's see what Ethan can do on the back end. Smooth start. Ooh. Tries to climb up on that section, just a little late.
Has strived. He's great in small surf too, but definitely he loves, you know, a big meaty tube ride.
Here we go, Ethan's up again. Love that first turn. And still adding some points down the line. This wave's gone a little sleepy and he's forced to go back to cutbacks, but sticks with it, just trying to add some extras.
I mean, first move here. Again, sets it up with the bottom turn straight up into it, drifts, and then look, comes out of it straight into a bottom turn. That's those combination of major moves that love. No pump at all, straight into a bottom turn and had speed.
It's a real shame this wave didn't give him anything else because, well, he didn't have the, the height and that explosive big turn like John Florence had for the 973. Your favorite candidate. Right now, though, we're going to go back to live action. John Florence in the barrel. We'll find the exit. Nice big cutback. Just drawing that turn out for an eternity before kicking out there. So trying to get rid of the 5.
With a ton of speed and then rapid figure 8. He gets in the barrel here, he disappears from view, and then comes out with all this speed. Look at this big wrap. Just all the way around, figure 8, tags the whitewater on the way back. So just the 2 maneuvers there. He'll better the 5. But such a good read. I mean, this is on the outside section. You see a barrel when the tide starts to drop. It's going to start barreling on the outside section. He sees that. Nice clean exit out of it. But look at the technique here. Keeps that arm low this time. So much different. Look at that. Low and then opens it up. Tags that foam on the rebound. You know, sometimes he'll start his arm up high and bring it across his body. And then other times he brings it low. And it's a little bit different. And it's harder to keep it low. But that's what allowed him to hold the speed through this maneuver. Look, low arm, and then springs it up into the back walk or into the rebound section.
6.37 is the number earlier on for a 9.73. A single turn, a huge backside air reverse. You might see another one here as he loads up. He's going to kick out though.
It's the anticipation just kills us.
Pretty similar to that camera angle. It just looks so tweaked out as we see Ethan Ewing up now. Chasing a 9.61 from this ride. Starting to look like the kid that won that World Junior title and qualified with ease. Silky flow through to the inside. Bashes that oncoming section.
Yeah, I mean, we had touched on it. Even if he doesn't re-qualify, you would think that, and he'd be right back on tour.
Let's see what happened here, though. During that ride from Ethan, John Florence.
Jeez. What?
It's like a helicopter out there at the moment.
No grab on that one. He literally steered his board through that whole maneuver with his feet. First, we'll look at the beautiful arc right there from Ethan Ewing, again showing us a ton of variety. This is some of the best Ethan Ewing we've seen so far this season. This is what we expected from him, you know, and he just hadn't been given the opportunity. Maybe a bit of deer in headlights slightly, but now, right now, loving it. And he's going to probably have a bunch more heats with John Florence in his career, so this is a great experience for him. But watch this. I mean, just how he can get his board flattened out and tweaked out. That was incredible. I like that almost better. Boom. And look, he chucked his feet out. Again, didn't get a grab. And that's a totally different style of air, how he shifts up the board. And he spun that with his, he kicked it out. That was crazy. I mean, you have to go big on that.
At Bells Beach all those years ago, he kind of projected way out, almost onto the flats. John Florence having a field day at the moment. Really looking to grab this opportunity to get the ratings lead from Geordie Smith. And just putting on a great show for the fans. Ethan Ewing's just dropped another excellent score, an 8.
Just give it your best shot.
Speaking of meat and potatoes, what's your take on this heat out there in the water right now?
Oh, John's going absolutely Looney Tunes. He's really surfing so well, and same with Ethan. I mean, I think this is kind of the best we've seen Ethan surf all year.
Prior to heats, every morning he was on one of the best waves, attacking, throwing airs. I just think, as you said, the conditions kind of...
He'll be on the QS and back on the tour in no time.
It might actually serve him well to get some time out of the jersey and just to really work on adding some size to his turns. As we see Florence up once again. Trying to get rid of a 9.43. Not a bad position to be in as he ducks for cover and looks to load up for an alley-oop. Disengages from the equipment. No dramas there, though. Just under 2 minutes to go.
After seeing what happened the heat previous to him, but he answered in a huge way. Looking good. Even on this wave, I mean, good variety of barrels, snaps, cutbacks, alley-oops. What are you going to give us next? I mean, we haven't seen like a super drained out barrel yet, but look at this snap. I mean, his board feels like it's just stuck to his feet. He can do no wrong. This isn't the best section for an alley-oop, but he somehow is able to get a little bit of pop.
Collected on just 2 turns. A 9.73, a 9.43 for John Florence. He's on his way to the 4th round. We're going to take a quick break. When we return,